Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined, as always, by the boy.
Hey!
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and strap in, because this might be a long one. You know, it's kind of weird. I say that,
And we'll end in
they
30
already
minutes.
know.
Oh. True. Tell us your secrets from the future. In the comments.
Yeah. Buy my books. Patreon. The bell.
Let's do the actual podcast now.
Yeah. So, as I had mentioned in the past, we were going to do update podcasts on our D&D classes, because a lot of subclasses come out in Unearthed Arcana and new supplements, and, you know,
Yeah,
we got to
basically.
talk about it.
Yeah, basically. Sorry, I'm a little stuck on the fact that it is an absolute goddamn tragedy that you people cannot see his hand motions when he talks. But,
Just assume every word I say is punctuated by finger guns, and it'll enhance your podcast experience by 0.23%.
And won't be inaccurate. Alright, so... yeah, do you just start from the top?
Sure. So, Barbarian starts with B.
Yep.
And,
I mean, you did provide this list in alphabetical order, so we're all good there.
yeah. We still haven't done Artificer, and we'll just do all of those at once. So the new
This is
armor
just a
subclass.
catch-up.
Yeah, this is just catch up. My body will not let me continue without saying "and mustard." Ancestral Guardian Barbarian got an update.
Yeah, so this is probably the one we have the most experience with comparing and contrasting, because we played with an Ancestral Guardian Barbarian who went from using the old version for several levels to using the new version, and it's just a straight-up improvement.
Yep.
It is just a straight, clean improvement.
Unless you are a dire fan of the words "wheel" and "woe" as they took away augury.
Yep. Don't worry, they'll come back later.
The new classes, we have a question at the end of them. It says, how would you play it? It basically a play on how would you play a sorcerer, blah, 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 blah. With the updated, however, we ask, does this make you more or less likely to play it?
I'm certainly hella more likely to play an Ancestral Guardian Barbarian now, because they're just better. And I've seen one in action, and they work really well. They're good tanks.
They were fine with those dice being D6s. Basically, Spirit Shield got called Ancestral Shield, and now it's D6 dice are D8s, and that applies to Vengeful Ancestors too. So you roll D8s instead of D6s to reduce the amount of damage an ally you can see takes, and then the target you're fighting, if you're high enough level, gets dealt that amount of damage.
And it's, it's not bad. It's certainly not bad, and I like it. They didn't change much else.
No.
It's just a straight improvement.
Yeah. Very small, too, compared to a lot of the other ones.
But it makes an impact. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm certainly hella more likely to play one now.
I think that has more to do with seeing one go from 1 to 20, honestly. It's not like you were looking at those D6s and going, too low.
It's true.
Or is it just that they removed augury, where you're like, I'd like this class, but
It's
I
so
hate
useless.
that spell.
Augury is not a useful
How dare you give me that in addition to everything else the updated version?
I'd rather have not it. I would rather, if they'd kept it D6s and just got rid of Augury, improvement.
Yeah, trying to explain that to the player who was playing the Barbarian, just looking at the quizzical look on her face.
Literally never got used once in the
No.
campaign.
I mean, neither did Clairvoyance, but whatever.
All right. Next up is the Beast Barbarian.
This is cool. So it's basically like you get animal bits when you rage and
You're a
attack
werebarian.
people.
Like,
Yeah.
your rage becomes you're fucking hulking out. You become a lichen.
Well, I like that they provide different suggestions too, because they were like, you could also be like Fey touched, or maybe you are summoning your ancestral spirit animal, but instead of it being like the spirit totem barbarians, the animal totems, it's just coming out of you.
Yeah, you're fucking Udyr.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, Udyr.
I really love it. I want to play one, but I want to play most Barbarian subclasses, because Barbarian is just a very well made class.
I think Barbarian's the only, except for one session, the only 5th edition class I have not played.
Which is so weird. It's so well made.
I just, keep not being the right call to make.
That's fair. That's fair.
This, you guys know how much I dislike Druid's wild shape. This is something I would rather see instead of its current wild shape. Now, for specifically flying and swimming real good, sure. But, which even Beast Barbarian has a swim enhancer, so for flying. fine. That doesn't bother me. Turn into a bird, I don't give a shit. But like enhancing the stuff you already have, getting better at what you can already do instead of being like, all right, now you're a moose for a minute.
Like, I'm not sure. We'll have plenty of time for you to bitch about Druid's wild shape when we get to Druid.
I just think this is cool. Like, if I were redesigning Druid and I had to keep wild shape intact, which is a question we were asked before on the podcast by you.
Yes.
I would take a lot of inspiration from this.
I don't disagree. It's a very good usage of it's a very good way of making a barbarian feel unique. There's a character I played for a couple sessions who I might remake as a Beast Barbarian because it fits him so well. I played him as a brute fighter before because I had just played a barbarian.
Oh, yeah, cool.
But it fits him so well that I might remake him as a Beast Barbarian because it just fits it meshes so well.
Yeah.
He was a shifter.
Yeah, he was a shifter. And we had very specific stuff in the place you were playing where like shifters were treated like outsiders and that would be a really great compliment to that character. I agree. Call the Hunt is their capstone. I just want to mention it because it's got great flavor and mechanics integration because you kind of got to get your party on board.
But if you get your party on board, you get a big buff out of it.
And it doesn't give them any drawbacks, so there's no reason to say no.
No, but like tonight the Wild Hunt rides and I am at its head.
Yeah, it's so cool. Me personally, I mean, you mentioned Udyr. That's a good one. One could play Gao from Final Fantasy VI using this build, theoretically. You get a lot of...
It gives you a hell of a good bite attack.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you could even, like, if you're working with your DM, you know, you could just straight up play an animal person this way and configure your own animal instead of waiting on Dungeons & Dragons to release the Lion Men.
Yeah, exactly. You could also play a Lion Man as this.
Super Lion Man!
Great idea, White Raven.
Or play a turtle and then, like, turn into a Lion Man.
Or play a turtle and just get the big snappies sometimes.
Yeah. You go from Raphael to Toka.
Yes, exactly.
We'll move along to Bards. The Creation Bard. Why don't you talk first? Because I have some problems with the Creation Bard.
Like, I don't have a lot of notes about it. I just didn't like it. I you know what? I don't even know that it was on the list you gave me. Because I just skipped it. I just skipped putting notes about it entirely because I didn't... It's meh.
I like a lot of its effects. I like that it's got some versatility. You can use dancing weapons. You can sing a song and make a boat appear that so long as you keep singing the song, your friends can ride the boat. That song could be, I'm on a boat.
True.
Here's my issue with it. Their first ability makes their bardic inspiration a visible fucking music note. And like every time I read that, my brain makes the stamina drained noise from SmackDown vs. Raw 2007.
It really bothers you that much.
It does.
In all the wacky bullshit D&D does, someone using like a prestidigitation effect to make visible sheet music bothers you that much.
It's not visible sheet music. It's just one little notey boy. But it's like part of the class by default. Like the reverse, okay? You know, your bardic inspiration is fueled by your divine music even more than other bards. Blah, 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 blah. Player comes up to me and says, "Oh, can I have like an actual music note floating around him?" Sure, I don't care.
But it's bothersome to you when it's in the book.
When it's like it's a little fucking music baby. What? Why?
Because people like little music baby.
I fucking guess. After that, after getting over that hump and going, all right, shut up and read the fucking class. I think it's cool. It's flexible, and that creation stuff as their capstone is really. You can do some neat shit with that. And dancing weapon, that's really fun to do too.
Dancing weapon, I really did.
Yeah,
like that was fun. Just because. Well, honestly, because my brain always takes dancing weapon and puts in Kreia from Knights of the Old Republic 2 using dancing lightsabers to fight you.
Okay,
and that was a really cool image.
I like it. I dig it.
But yeah, I don't have much to say about it.
How would you play one?
I mean, as a comedy character.
Yeah.
It's right there. Come on. Like, I would play Jaskier. Or
Yeah.
Jaskier from fucking The Witcher. Only he is even more ridiculous.
Like, so your stereotype bard. This is your lean in.
This would be... Yeah, because it is the arch bard, as it were. So,
it's the Final Fantasy bard. The one where you're like, you get out of my party.
and I want... If I'm going to be the stereotypical... Not like thought bard. And I don't mean thinking. If I was gonna be like the fucking big floofy hat with the feather and a lute with and like the big poofy sleeves, this would be the motherfucker who would do it.
I don't know if you guys, I don't know what age bracket our listener base is, our regular listener base anyway. If y'all remember the Disney sing-along songs videos, we played them a lot when our music teacher would come in and he was hungover. So I was pretty familiar with them. It basically is just a couple of vignettes preceding a song from a popular Disney movie.
Yeah.
And they would have the lyrics at the bottom, like karaoke. The vignettes were, for the first couple of seasons, hosted by Professor Owl.
You would play Professor Owl?
I would play Professor Owl because he's just a little hooty bastard who would definitely make magic music notes and be like, "Okay, children, get on the boat as I sing this song about boats, boat, 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 float, float, float," and they fucking go.
I love that idea. I love that idea. It's a great idea.
Thank you. We move to the Eloquence Bard.
This is just like they call it's really just a different subclass that uses the same name.
It's
got the same capstone, I think,
and it has similar themes overall.
But like, I like the earlier version better.
It's fine. I was playing an Eloquence Bard for about 3 or 4 sessions, and I had a very specific, unique build that made use of animals through the animal feat for skills. I forget what it's called.
Then universal speech.
Yeah, and universal speech. This bumps universal speech up a little higher. It gets rid of my casting calm emotions all the time.
It's not that this one's worse. I just like the other one better. It's all down to preference.
I don't even know that I like the other one better. I might even be willing to like retrain my character, but
it's just not as fun. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's not bad. Again, it is a perfectly fine subclass. If I hadn't already seen the other Eloquence Bard, I'd be alright with this. This would be fine. Not anything I would necessarily play, although they had the one feature they got at 3rd level, where they got to...
the roll a 10 every time you roll a d20 for persuade checks? Yeah, that's amazing at 3rd level.
That's amazing at 3rd level. That's just basically succeed most checks at 3rd level.
The funny thing, too, is with the bard that I made, I took the cantrip Mind Sliver, which causes...
I noticed that they basically gave you a version of Mind Sliver in the new Eloquence Bard.
Yeah, and you can use it, I believe, as a bonus action. So you can actually make your Mind Sliver even stronger.
Yeah.
So that's kind of unexpected double play with exactly my concept.
And also you can use it to stack on to, since it's not a spell, the actual spell you used Mind Sliver to set up for, which is Insinuation, which I think works really well together. It's based off your Bardic Inspiration die, so it's a more sharply limited resource than Cantrip. But Mind Sliver's still there. And they do stack.
Yeah. And Mind Sliver gets sexy as you level up. So
do this, do Mind Sliver, and then hit them with an Insinuation. They are not likely to pass.
It's good overall. I mean, like it's the other one was also fine. These are some mostly lateral changes.
This is just a different. This isn't a worse or better. This is a different thing.
But I wouldn't expect them, and obviously the new one is the published one. I wouldn't expect them to publish both because they're similar enough that
I have access to both. Yeah. So who cares?
All right. Well, let's float on Cleric because I believe you answered the question of more or less likely to play.
Oh yeah, if I was gonna play one of the two, it'd be the old one. Yes, for Cleric, I believe I have the only one for Cleric is Unity. I literally have this listed as Dungeons and Dragons Friendship is Magic.
I made other references. Emboldening Bond is our Get Along shirt.
There is the Shared Burden is as you actually made the same joke. Fucking Communist Anthem intensifies. It's our damage. Oh.
One thing I want to mention about Emboldening Bond, which you like point at two dudes and go, hey, when you guys are hanging out, you get bonus dice. You can use a spell slot to cast it again before your long rest.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like features like that. And there's a couple of them.
That's actually something I've seen as like a light theme throughout the updates, and I like that change.
That's good.
But like, this is a very well-made cleric subclass.
Yeah, this is a great support cleric.
I absolutely would play Comrade Cleric. But it's especially it's not like it falls off later. All of the higher level stuff is good too.
Yeah. I can't think of a specific archetype I'd use to play this because I think it fits with clerics. I think you'd want to be the heart of the party, or like Red 13, sort of off to the side, keeping shit together.
Well, you can also Emboldening Bond yourself.
Sure.
So you and the tank could be Bash Brothers.
Yeah, you could do that too. You could play Herr Doctor and Heavy.
Oh, what a good idea.
I think this is a great character for an NPC. 17th level cleric could, like, as a quest reward, give two of your party members Emboldening Bond, which at that point works so long as you're on the same plane.
Yeah, I like that idea. And you know what? They mention it in the fluff, like, and Unity clerics are the ones who preside over weddings and shit like that. So, like, a very powerful. It'd make an excellent cap to like a romance storyline, or to like a very powerful bromance that two player characters do over the course of a campaign.
Yeah, you could definitely play a more like tribal version, and when they become blood brothers bonded by this tribal cleric.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be fucking.
And they get their Emboldening Bond.
Hell yeah, that's fun.
I like that idea a lot. That's really cool. I really would like to play this. Like, this makes me more likely to play Cleric much sooner again, because I recently I recently played a Divine Soul Sorcerer, who is essentially just Cleric with a more blasty spell list, not better. But this makes me more likely to play Cleric much sooner than I otherwise would have, because the features on this are really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're really mechanically good, and they're fun, and they allow me to make so many jokes about Saturday morning cartoons.
I would definitely play this 100%. It's just not anything specific springing to mind. It's
I would.
It's very default cleric. This is one of the options I could take.
I would play like Durkon Oakenshield as the joke I usually make of the dwarf.
The other I forget the name of it off the top of my head. The cleric of being a good bro, of helping.
Yeah.
Solidarity.
Solidarity cleric also good.
But that's like, I love that cleric too, and I think they both occupy the same sort of, place of bringing the group together and helping out.
Yeah.
So, let's go to the Druid of the Stars.
This is what I want to see from Wild Shape stuff.
Yeah.
I like Wild Shape. I think it's a very cool, very nice utility feature unless you turn into it, and then it can be a very cool central feature for the class. This is what I want to see from Druid subclasses. This shit. A thing that allows you to use your Wild Shape for something that is just interesting and a way to improve what you do. And is unique to that kind of druid. Because every druid can turn into a fucking squirrel. Only stars druids can turn into a fucking constellation. That's cool.
I would have liked to have seen a couple more constellations, and maybe when they finally release this, it will have some. Who knows? But now there are other druids that can do that. We've talked about them before. The Wildfire one gets a little familiar. The
Circle of Spores is like the archetypal. You can use your wild shape for something else, for like a improved form sort of thing. And
the update Unearthed Arcana also added the option to cast Find Familiar with your wild shape. Well, a nerfed version. It doesn't last as long, and it's generally not as good.
Basically, summon nature's ally.
Yeah, and not even that good.
But I like this. I think this is a really cool. It's a way to make a star boomkin. That's nice.
I mean, you get Guiding Bolt for free 5 times a day. It's just first level, which I had to look up.
I mean, look, upcasting Guiding Bolt doesn't get you the best part of Guiding Bolt. That comes standard as a part of the package.
Exactly. So. And that's ancillary to the rest of your spells. That's phenomenal. I like how Cosmic Omen, the 6th level ability, transforms Augury. Because you get Augury as part of your sacred texts.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just saw it in my head. Give me a moment.
That's fine. I really like Full of Stars, not only for the reference, which
Right.
I see you, Wizards of the Coast, but it is a great buff feature.
Yeah. And Starflare, their capstone. It's a decent amount of damage.
It's damage and great battlefield control.
That's the part I love.
Just top tier battlefield control.
Because now your wizard or your sorcerer, can drop their maximized fireball.
Yeah, you use Starflare first, get the whole party out of the area for the blaster casters to really fucking lay down suppressive fire. Danger close.
Yeah. Just overall A+ class. I don't think it's too powerful. It's definitely not too weak. So
I don't necessarily want to play a druid anytime soon, but if I do, this one has jumped way up the list.
unless I find some real specific concept or decide I want to tackle wild shape, I've done dumber things.
You have.
This is probably how, like, the next time I try to play a druid, this is probably the one I'll play.
Because it gives you a useful for your wild shape that you just have.
Yeah.
I feel like that's enough blowing smoke up this one's ass. On forward?
Yeah, let's move to the Echo Knight. My notes are brief.
Yep. All my notes are brief. But let's just do a quick little rundown of all of the things of all of the different fictional characters you can play with the Echo Knight. Who do you have listed?
I have Noob Saibot.
I have listed Shaco from League of Legends.
Nice.
Or Echo from League of Legends.
Sure.
That one made me laugh. This is just a really well-made fighter subclass.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's just a great way to... It's very impactful, it's very fun, it's very neat and unique, and it allows you to do a lot of cool shit. And yeah, play fucking Noob Saibot. Play Shaco. Play
multiple man.
Play Loki.
Yeah.
As an Echo Knight fighter.
Yeah, fuck
Gives
it.
you your Asgardian tankiness along with, let's be real, his move. Are you ever going to stop falling for that?
If you don't get it by the context clues there, because the rest of them have been pretty obvious. Druid of Stars, that's a druid but like stars. Cleric of Unity, appreciates Unity. The Echo Knight is, you summon like a clone of yourself. Oh, the other thing I thought of that
Naruto, do Shadow Clone no
Sure.
Jutsu.
Dark Souls, Jolly Cooperation.
Yeah, you summon a golden Solaire to help you out.
Yeah, like it's not even a clone of you in this sense. It's just another buddy. You wiped the soapstone and now it's time to go.
But yeah, no, it's...
And it gives you alternate attacks. It gives you a different place to fight from.
Yeah, it basically gives
Fucking
you
Zed
a different...
from League of Legends.
Yeah, Zed? Yes, Zed, Shadow Clone. Why did I write Zed? He's right there.
Yeah, there's so many options and it's really well done.
It gives you basically another source for everything you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a source that doesn't give damage to you. So you can insert your Shadow Clone into a more dangerous area and keep yourself further back.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And having another source for attacks and opportunity attacks and a whole bunch of other shit that you can then hot swap to.
Yeah.
Like Zed is really cool. I like this a lot. It's very well made.
Yeah, me too. Congratulations, Matthew Mersington.
Look, I am absolutely a big part of this is me blowing up the stuff they did well because I'm about to fucking ravage what comes next.
The Cyanite?
I hated this.
I wouldn't go quite that far.
I would.
But I see what they were doing here.
I don't like it.
Okay, so there was, I think one of the most recent, if not the most recent, Unearthed Arcanas gave us revised options for the 3 psychic classes we got.
All of them are worse. Spoilers.
The Psychic Warrior, the Soul Knife Rogue, and the Psychic Soul Sorcerer. I first of all don't know why you can't have both.
I mean, one, you can't have both in my campaigns because I'm not going to let you play the just worse version.
Secondly, there's this mechanic that is the same thing among all 3 of these classes, where you get a Psychic Powers die that changes size depending on what you roll. And what that means, for those of you who go, what the fuck kind of metaphysical shit are you talking about here? if it starts as a D6, it will go down to a D4 or may increase to a D8, so on. And so
No,
forth.
that's the thing. It never increases past its base.
Right.
It only increases with level up, making it less likely for your whole fucking class feature to turn off if you get too lucky. But it's an awful luck mechanic, for starters, that is designed to punish you for doing well as a second thing, and is an awful way to power gate what are otherwise only middlingly okay features that are usually worse than the previous versions when having DM'd a level 15 Soul Knife Rogue do not need nerfing. They're fine as is. These classes didn't need nerfs, and almost all their features are a straight nerf, and they're now power gated by what is just a shitty, worse version of a fighter's superiority die.
Yeah.
With a gimmicky luck add-on that just makes you feel like shit for doing well. Oh, I rolled a 6. Oh, fuck.
I think the luck mechanic would be cool for a gambler, especially if you make those higher end shits you can do, like, way more powerful.
I agree. A luck mechanic would be fine for a gambling class, and I like and there is a good version of this. If you start with a higher die size with more variability, start at a 6 that can go to an 8 or a 4.
Sure.
Then, instead of it being some dumb bullshit luck mechanic that punishes you for doing well, I would even prefer a luck mechanic that has the die size go down if you roll poorly. That makes more logical fucking sense. But, like, that's also bad for other reasons. A host of other reasons, but that's not the actual feature, so I'm not going to go into it. But just have it be, if you use it, it goes down by a size. If you don't use it, it goes up by a size. Make it power management.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I thought it was going to be at first, when I first started reading it, but, like, it just...
I still wouldn't like it, but at least then it wouldn't be garbage.
I'm sure, like, in playtest, it doesn't turn out that bad, but it's still not... I don't know, man. Like, the ebb and flow thing, I don't know how that relates to psionic talent.
Well, what they're doing, they actually mention it in the text, is what you roll a 6, it goes down. This represents you burning through your reserves. You roll a 1, it goes up. This represents you husbanding your reserves to get it back. Cool. Or, and here's a fucking wacky concept, represent them burning through their reserves by having them burn through their reserves. And represent, I'm doing really fucking sardonic air quotes in case that wasn't clear, them husbanding their reserves by having them husband their reserves. Maybe don't add a gimmicky fucking luck mechanic in there.
Yeah, I mean, this could easily be sorcery point style, you know? Like, I played a psychic warrior, that is to say, for all of one session. She was level 3, 4, something like that.
Why isn't it sorcery points? That's what psionics was, is points.
Yeah,
why isn't this sorcery points?
I understand 110% why they want to go away from psionics is a completely different spell casting class with its own special spells. That's too fucking much.
You're right. I agree. But they still want it to be its own thing, and this die size thing is part of it. And I don't want this. This is a David Pumpkins I do not want.
I'm hoping they change this. I'm afraid they won't. Although I don't know. I don't keep up on the fan forums or anything, so maybe the backlash on this is huge. I didn't know that the backlash on a couple of the other classes was so negative until I got into it, so...
I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. They can keep it however much they want. I'm just not gonna fucking use them.
Well, I mean, basically, yeah. Specifically with Fighter, I don't like how so many of the Fighter subclasses add this, like, 3 fucking complicated resource management
why is
things.
Fighter now the most complicated class to play? Why is Charge and Full Attack N now... hands down the most complicated class to play.
Because even a brute gets these extra dice you got to keep track of. Like
extra
champion
dice
is
and extra. Oh, and don't give me. Champion's the only one that's a fighter. Like all of the ones with superiority dice and shit. It's just a more complex. It's like worse than wizard to deal with.
Sure, it's worse than sorcerer. I think sorcerer is the most complicated class in terms of I have spells and sorcery points to keep track of. They do different things. I'm being extra mean to Fighter right now because I am... expect to hear lesser versions of this for the next 2 as well. I do not like that dice mechanic. I'm not a fan either, and specifically with Fighter, because it's just another...
It's another fucking wacky bullshit thing the fighter has to keep track of.
I would rather those things be like core mechanics to a different class.
I could see that.
You know what I mean?
I mean, in this particular case, I would rather this be not a mechanic, but right, I know what you mean.
Even like the superiority dice and stuff, the more complicated ones, like the brute's not that bad. It's an extra die you got to keep track of. You know, some of the stuff with like the samurai and stuff, it's fine.
Samurai's fine, brute's fine. It's an extra pool. Most classes have a pool of resource they use.
Right.
Arcane, you know, the Eldritch Knight, good. Class restrictions are weird, but good. The superiority die thing is just trying to stuff Tome of Weeaboo Fighting Magic into regular fighter.
And the 4th edition fighter.
And it doesn't fit.
I would make them two different...
Just make them two different classes.
A fighter and a battle master, or what the fuck ever. But anyway, let's move to Monk, which I think you're altogether more excited about.
Absolutely, 100%.
The Mercy subclass.
I already like Monk. I like the melee support character. That's cool. The fighting support, that's neat. And the Mercy Monk really leans into that skid. You can heal a little bit. You've got some poison effects. I personally would probably play this as like Caustic from Apex Legends, or Singed from League of Legends, because they're the same guy. And like with a Plague Doctor mask, and just don't worry, I can see fine.
I have to say the line. I know we're way late on the meme here, but Mercy Monk, more like Moira Monk.
No, I don't get that. I'm sorry.
You don't? That's a reference to Overwatch, because Moira does the healing with one hand with the Sunny D, and then purple stuff is the other hand, and that does the hurts.
Right, but this one doesn't shoot out big balls.
No, that's true. But
Moira hitting you with her big balls is the central point.
You know, I don't. You would probably know the memes better than I do, because you watch that kind of stuff. But I just played the game sometimes.
Like Mercy from Overwatch.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, no, I did not fucking get that joke at all. Okay, no, it makes sense.
Okay, all right, we're there now. All right. I like both of the concepts of Poison Monk and Healing Monk. I don't mind the concept of the crossover. I'd kind of like to have all three.
You kind of like to have a Healing Monk, a Poison Monk, and a Mixture Monk?
Yeah. The yin and yang makes them three different warring clans. I mean, you know. It's weirdly specific. Really specific, even more than Monk usually is.
I think I would enjoy playing my Caustic/Singed idea more if the healing wasn't there, but it's very useful mechanically.
Sure.
And a Monk who is more into healing, I think that's there, because that way it's not just Monk doesn't ever do any damage.
I mean, if you're looking to play a support Monk anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think I like this. Versions that have the two different halves split apart with other similar shit filled in would also be perfectly welcome.
Yeah, I don't hate this at all. I could definitely play one. I think I'd play it, I don't know, reclusive. Like, I know the mask fluff is there, and I love masks, but I don't know that I'd necessarily follow it. You're just an herbalist. You're an apothecary. You know how to do the good herbs and the bad herbs. You know how to
good herb.
Align your chakras and turn them off.
Oh man, that would be cool.
Now, I also want to mention their capstone is weirdly situational. It's good.
No, but it is situational.
It is really situational for a capstone.
You're not wrong. It's weirdly situational for a capstone.
I'd rather see it nerfed a little bit and drop down.
Why is Feign Death here, and who made it their 17th level capstone?
And you can totally use it on a boss, but like,
why?
Why not just kill them?
I guess if you know what, it allows you to take people in.
Sure, again, situational.
Yeah, like situational.
Because you're getting it at 17th level. What are you gonna take in Orcus?
Most of the shit you're fighting as a 17th level team. You know what you could though?
Yeah.
You fucking could. With the right debuffs from other party members, you could drag Orcus to fucking court.
Turn 2. May peace be upon you. And Orcus takes a nap.
And then we fucking drag him to court to stand trial for his crimes. Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
All right, moving on to Paladin, one of my favorite classes overall.
I I think Paladin might just be mechanically the best made class in 5e.
It might be.
It just feels really good all the time.
I think it might be the most well done. Like, design philosophy met execution, mechanics with the fluff. It's just
good.
The best. And I don't necessarily mean your output for whatever is superior to all others. It is a powerful class, don't get me wrong.
You can have a hell of a good Nova, as the internet uses the term.
Sure, but regardless of its functionality, like,
it just
over the
feels
others,
good to play.
It's just the whole package is A+. Now we're talking about the Glory Paladin first, which replaces the Heroism Paladin, which uniquely, on our Paladin podcast, you said you found Heroism to be the most boring and uninteresting Paladin. And
I did.
Since you have played one.
I have. Because I found a concept for it that really worked really well as a Heroism Paladin. Just fit. Essentially, Turtle Paladin, combination of Wrath from Ben 10 and All Might. So All Might by way of Jean Damasio. And it just fit as a Heroism Paladin. He is a Paladin of the Iron Church. He goes and gets strong, and he's not about being the best. He's about improving, being better. Always going for that plus ultra. Mm-hmm. And it's just, he's really fun to play, and that proves it. That proves that Paladin's a really well-made class, because I took literally my least favorite version of Paladin and made a character I fucking love playing with it.
Well, and that's, something you mentioned in that podcast as well, is that it was your least favorite and that all Paladin subclasses are still good.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. It's just the least bombastic.
And I think the big turnoff for that is the Peerless Athlete Channel Divinity, which seems really mediocre.
Until you use it, and it's great.
Right, but like when it's on the page, like, I mean, you look at it and go, what the fuck, pass, I'm done. Like the fucking Note of Creation, you read it and go, I'm not reading the rest of this, I ain't got time for this shit.
But then I actually played one, and I used it, and I must say, I was wrong. That felt really good to use.
But it has been fully published as the Glory Paladin in the most recent Mythic Odyssey of Theros book.
In the most recent whatever they named, I think.
The Greek one. And this boy feels hella Greek.
Yeah, this is Atlas. This is fucking
Hercules.
This is my brain literally will not give me the name. Achilles. There we go. And I don't. This is fine. This is a fine update. Yeah. I would probably keep the old version just because it has stuff I very slightly prefer for the specific build I made, because I made that build with those features in mind.
Sure.
But if I were going to play like a different Heroism Paladin, I'd be fine to update. This is a perfectly fine update.
I like the fluff a little better. I like the name change to Glory, and I like the fact that it's in the Greek book, because I think that really sells the fantasy. I didn't get Heroism Paladin until they Greekified it, and I went, oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's do you want to live forever? Immortality is there. It's yours. Take it.
Right, yeah, it's really sick. One weird thing I will point out is that the Glory Paladin, the new version, gets Heroism as an oath spell. The Heroism Paladin didn't.
Nope, which was weird. I noticed it, and it was weird.
One thing I will kind of complain about is I liked Legendary Strike that lets you, for a minute, crit on a 1920.
Oh, I've used it, and I used it in the battle I used it on, because it was a short campaign I played this character. I crit twice in that fight with a 19.
Yeah, and critting as a paladin when you get to apply your smite if you feel like it.
I almost murdered a god. I was level 3. Look, you can do a lot with a paladin.
Yeah. But Inspiring Smite is good too. It gives bonus HP.
I really like the Inspiring Smite thing with the bonus HP. That's a really cool, in the vein of the character I wanted to play. Whereas, fucking I am here. It's going to be fine now. And he punches the fucking face of the bad guy, and everyone else is going, oh, he's here, it's great.
I think it fits in better with the good aligned paladin template as well, because there's a lot more buffs that a paladin gets than just straight up, I am better at doing shit.
Yeah, and I like being able to pass that shit out to the rest of the party and have it be like a big heroic aura that I produce that just buoys the spirits of everyone. It layers with other paladin stuff really well.
Yeah,
this is just a good update.
Speaking of aura, Aura of Alacrity is something that looks shitty when you look at it.
Until you are stuck in combat in the mush, and everyone is too far apart, and you've got to get to people, and then it becomes real good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Aura of Alacrity is not what I was talking about.
That's the one that makes them faster.
Yeah. No, I think that's coming later. But I do like Aura of Alacrity. I've used that design philosophy before. I totally didn't steal it from a League of Legends item.
No, me neither. Shush.
The only thing that I really, really have to complain about, because Inspiring Smite and Legendary Strike, that's 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
Yeah, it's
they're both powerful. They're both good.
They tune the class slightly differently.
Living Myth, their capstone. Their reroll save.
It's just a straight nerf.
It's just a straight nerf.
It wasn't OP before.
Yeah, because Paladin capstones are OP anyway. I mean, it wasn't more OP than any other Paladin.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it wasn't OP compared to the others.
So, I can understand them nerfing the save or nerfing the duration.
But both?
Both is a little weird.
Oof, man. Why? Rude.
I think for me, at the end of the day, this makes me more likely to play the class, though, the subclass.
It's just, and it's just a good update.
Yeah, I just get it better now.
It gives you the Greekification gives you hooks. I already had that because I recently DM'd an entire setting where most of the paladins are Greek. So
okay, let's move on to the Paladin of the Watchers.
I don't hate it. It's a very fine paladin subclass. It is neither better nor worse than most of them.
I dig it, fluff-wise.
For me, it feels like it feels, fluff-wise, like it treads over ground Paladin already sort of covers.
I don't know. This kind of feels more like the Arcane Paladin, between the spells they get and their abjuration thing.
I didn't look at the bonus spells that much.
They also, they're good for fighting outsiders. There was an order mentioned in some fucking errata book that was, specifically set up to fight outsiders. And, this is emblematic of that. This is exactly what you want.
I would use to put it into something that I have a hook for. I would use a Watcher's Paladin as the basis for a Grey Warden class.
Exactly. I mentioned here these feels like a Paladin order that would be in Dark Souls, and then literally wrote like the fucking Abyss Watchers, and then everything clicked into my head. Their original intent, not their boss form. This is what I wanted to mention about. The Aura of the Sentinel, gives you their, I think, intelligence bonus or something like that, charisma maybe, to initiative for everybody.
It's probably charisma.
Right.
We could Google it. We're not going to.
Yeah, it's whatever. That doesn't seem like much.
Wrong.
Yeah. Because
it doesn't seem like much unless you've DM'd ever.
I do my best to try to seed monsters throughout the fight. Group initiative definitely goes faster for 2 reasons. 1, you don't have to keep track of as many moving pieces. 2, all of your monsters are dead.
By the time they get to go, they're all dead. I recently started the first session of a new campaign, and in the first fight of the new campaign, I intentionally used group initiative and intentionally set the bad guys' initiative to last, because they weren't going to live long anyway, so I really wanted to hammer it in.
Whereas I also started a new campaign recently, and I made sure to kind of let the initiative, filter in and out of the other players. And zombies were a challenge.
You can literally buff an encounter CR, effective CR, by 3 or 4, just by properly managing initiative. And that is one area where I have ascended as a DM and am perfectly happy to cheat. I will put the initiative where the fuck I want, thank you.
I still let the die fall where it falls, but I respect it.
For a lot of things I will, but for characters who are intentionally supposed to be minions, they go last. For Orcus, he's going first, I'm sorry.
So yeah, that's actually a really great feature. And I like Mortal Bulwark also, just really strong. It's good.
Yeah, it's a perfectly fine, it just didn't blow my skirt up.
Sure. Moving to Ranger, the Fei Wanderer.
This one actually seems a little overtuned, to be perfectly honest.
As in too strong?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, it has a bunch of shit that is great. And then it has also another thing that's great. And another thing that's great. And there's too many great. Too many great. So it gets like a free magic weapon at 3rd level. And not like number of times per modifier per day, which is standard. Just done. They just get a free magic weapon that does extra 1d blank, 1d6 psychic damage, I think.
There's a number of subclasses that do that. And the monk does.
But more importantly, it's at 3rd level. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's magic, which, as we can both attest, is an important part of some monsters' power balancing.
Well, I would say for a ranger specifically, that makes sense, though.
Oh, I don't disagree. But it has that, and a sneak attack bonus, like a sneak attack that they just get at a certain level. They just get that. They just get sneak attack.
I mean, it's nowhere near as much damage, but
it's psychic damage.
It is psychic damage,
which is much harder to resist. Very little shit has psychic damage resistance except aberrations.
Yeah.
And whiz bonus to all charisma checks at a certain point. And it's a lot of great shit, and maybe a little too much great shit.
I would agree with you, except that I've DM'd a Horizon Walker for 20 levels.
And that's fair. It's not a railgun.
It's like all of their extra dice damage stuff, and the way it's like seeded out throughout the class reads more to me as a nerfed, a balanced, I should say, version of what a Horizon Walker can do.
Which is stack up a billion different dice onto it, then turn it all into force damage and fuck your boss in the mouth.
Pretty much. The psychic damage you're doing is in addition to your weapon's damage. So you can't do something like, fuck around and multi-class your ranger and throw a smite on top of that and suddenly everything is force damage. You can't do something like get an item or consumable that gives you extra dice of damage. Like 1. That doesn't seem like a big deal, right? Until it's all force damage. You can't,
You can't do none of that, play a perfectly normal Horizon Walker Ranger, and do 250 damage in a single attack, all of it force damage. Haha, your boss dies, though.
Like, the Horizon Walker Ranger is strong.
And compared to that, I would say Horizon Walker Ranger with the revised Ranger chassis is just over 2.
Yes.
This is not that,
right?
But it's still, I would expect to have had more of it go number of times per day for bleh, as opposed to,
well,
just, you get it, you just get it.
I think,
I don't dislike it. I think it's fun and cool, and I like the idea of like a fairy ranger, but it's maybe a little overtuned.
I think it's also in part with the fact that ranger spells generally suck.
You know what? That is true. Ranger spells are Garbo. They are the second most Garbo spell list.
Who's
Bard?
Bard, that's right. They've got some good spells. At least the ranger doesn't have any good spells. Cure wounds. No, rangers got very situational spells, so their spells aren't coming into play as much as a paladin or even a bard. So, like, if all those effects were stamped onto a fighter.
Yeah, you know what? It'd be worse on a fighter.
I mean, yeah, because you get more attacks.
Yeah.
Your rangers only ever get one more attack. Well,
actually, I believe they get 2 attacks.
Yeah, they get extra attack.
Yeah.
And then
they don't get extra attack. They don't get extra attack 2,
which is 3,
which is fighter exclusive.
So I mean, I feel like this is fine.
Yeah,
it's no worse than Beastmaster, certainly. A revised Beastmaster.
It is cool, though.
Yeah,
my mechanic concerns aside, it is cool.
Ranger's main job is to throughput damage and make sure you don't have to worry about the wilderness.
Yeah. Ranger's main job, which the Ranger in my new campaign accomplishes by owning a car, is just make overland travel shut the fuck up. Which is one of the reasons I was fine giving the character a car.
I didn't think of that until you just mentioned. That's brilliant.
Yeah, she already is a ranger.
Yeah, that's genius.
So I wasn't like I was going to be making you guys roll to find fucking fish anyway. Just get in the fucking car and let's move on with this. But rangers are to shorten travel time, shorten the part of the campaign you guys spend dicking around in the woods looking for berries, and make the boss. For my next trick, I'll make their health bar disappear. And this is quite good at that.
Yeah.
Not Horizon Walker good, but pretty good.
I'd say it's about as good as Beastmaster, the revised Beastmaster.
Yeah.
The revised Beastmaster can pour out some fucking damage.
Better AoE than Horizon Walker.
Sure. And I like the fact that if something fails a wisdom save, you can force it to, I guess like Charm and Fear, you can force a different target to suffer it. And I like that they can become invisible to somebody, like removed from their mind. That's
Fairy glamour.
Fucking sick.
This is good Fey shit. Like, in my last setting, I had a bunch of Fey stuff. I would definitely have used this.
Yeah. It is very specific. I'm usually not a huge fan of that, but actually I feel like Ranger has enough general subclasses, that something like this...
Yeah, something this specific is okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Much like the Defender or whatever it is, the one that turns into a tree.
Yeah. This one is going to be long, folks. We're at 50 minutes already.
Hey, we're almost done. In terms of how much more we have to talk about. How would you play it, real quick?
I mean, I would play a Changeling.
Yeah.
As like both race and literally a Changeling.
Yeah. Okay.
Half Fey. Has to decide whether or not he wants to be a fairy. Uses that power to shoot people.
I think I see a lot of elves when I visualize this character.
Yeah, like an Eladrin would be fine for that too.
Sure. Maybe just someone who's cared for by their fairy godmother, perhaps, if you want to look at it that way. Okay, moving on to Rogue. The Phantom Rogue replaces the Revived Rogue, and I recoiled at this at first.
¿Por qué no las dos?
Well, looking at their abilities, much like the Eloquence Bard, it just sort of occupies the same space.
It occupies the same thematic space whilst being mechanically fairly different.
Yeah, I gotta say I like the Phantom Rogue better, though.
And you have played a Revived Rogue.
I have.
So.
The Revived Rogue fit the character I played better. But, like, in terms of A, being a rogue, and B, embodying the stereotypes of a rogue and what you expect of, Phantom does a much better job.
Yeah, Revived was a little weird.
The only feature that I would maybe flex on, Wails from the Grave and Bolts from the Grave.
Bolts is better.
Yeah, because it gives you an extra opportunity to deal your sneak attack damage if you fail. And that's critically something that the rogue as a class suffers for.
It needs a way to do.
Yeah.
Like, so much so that unless you are really wanting the 20th level of rogue, just fucking get any other class that has a nice cheap way to get at least one more attack off a round.
I would recommend it, yeah. I mean, pairing rogue with ranger in that way really did me a lot of boon. But most of their stuff is just better versions. I like how instead of living past lives and talking with your past lives or whatever, you steal trinkets from ghosts as you kill people and use them for your abilities.
And then you crush them.
Yeah, you can crush them and reactivate certain powers too. Like,
I mean, it's roguey. You are stealing bits of things' souls as you murder them. That's
like
cool
that.
as shit.
Yeah, that's really neat. The question we ask is, does this make you more or less likely to play it? It makes me more likely to play it again.
Oh, really? That is high praise.
Yeah.
You almost never replay.
No, this is really interesting. I feel like I could create not only a very different character from the one I played who had most of their levels in this character, or in this class, but also, like, it feels more like a rogue.
Yeah, that's very high praise. I probably wouldn't play this as a rogue. There are plenty of other rogues I'd rather play. But also, like, I probably wouldn't play a straight rogue.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do that.
I've kind of been getting the itch.
It's just so easy to suck on toast.
But I more like the fluff stuff, like, burgling and,
Yeah, for fluff stuff, it's fine, but I made a bard with a wizard, so...
Sure. Bard the hard way.
I did bard the hard way, and I'm absolutely happy about it, because I get a better spell list.
As you said, we're so long on time here.
I don't want to give the other stuff short shrift. Worst case scenario, they get a big long podcast.
Yeah, I guess. We do like you guys after all. If you would like us,
look, there's not many of you, but I really appreciate you guys being here. If you want to listen to me jabber for an hour and a half, I'm here for it.
You could hit the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Share the videos with your friends if you think that they would like it. If you think that they would hate it and you don't care for them too much, share the video with them anyway.
Then they will dislike, which the algorithm denotes as another like. Shh, don't tell them that. They won't get to this point of the podcast. And we get more bonuses. We get more views.
I don't make any money off this fucking channel.
No, I just
look at me.
I like the idea of people listening.
Yeah, we treasure y'all. Anyway, also comment.
Hey, do me a favor. Move the mouse.
Yeah, move that mouse.
There you
Move that
go.
mouse.
Sometimes if we don't move the mouse for long enough, the screensaver kicks in and we lose audio chunks. So it's always good to do.
I've been scrolling, so hopefully that. But anyway, it's behind the scenes for you.
Yeah, this is a bonus for getting an hour into this podcast.
Yeah, you're still here. How lovely. Anyway, do you have anything else to say about the Revived Rogue or the Phantom Rogue?
Nope.
Okay. Soul Knife.
Garbage tier. I hate it.
So, I actually feel like
your notes. I have issues with your notes. It is mechanically worse in every way. His notes say it's better in every way except the die thing. No, it is literally worse. Every part of it is worse and less effective.
Because of the die?
No, even without it. Even if you took out the die, it is just less effective.
All right, that might have been me reading 5e tools wrong because when they've got
they're very similar shades of green.
Very similar shades of green.
It's just it's trash tier. I DM'd a level 15 Soul Knife. Not level 20, I know, but look, I gave up. I'm sorry, I tapped out. Level 20 is too hard to fucking balance. I could barely balance level 15.
I don't blame him.
I DM'd a level 15 Soul Knife. They were fine. They did not require a straight every feature nerf, along with strapping them to this fucking awful mechanic.
I do like some of the versatility options. I like some of the extra stuff that they can do. Was cool. But
it's just all tied into that terrible mechanic. You're right, it is cool, but it's not good because it's tied into that garbage tier mechanic.
I don't know that it makes me more or less likely to play it. I saw a Soul Knife played. That's all I really needed.
I would genuinely not want this at my table.
Sure.
Like, if you were going to play a Soul Knife, I would request you play the better version.
I mean, if I was committed to playing a Soul Knife, I would probably fucking homebrew it together.
Yeah,
but the concept doesn't get me excited. You know?
I thought it was pretty cool when I saw it done. But
sure, I just don't. I don't have a character with that isn't the character that was played. Like literally, very stoic, quiet. Mando. With psychic blades is basically exactly what you'd play. You could get a couple of options out of it, but none of them are characters that I'm really interested in. This is a great way to play the Psylocke from the X-Men, for example. But I don't want
the other one's a better way to play Psylocke from the X-Men.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Soul Knife in general. Just the concept just doesn't vibe with me. So
I feel like if it wasn't strapped to that terrible mechanic, I would have been way less bitter. But it still didn't need that much of a nerf.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to Sorcerer. What about Clockwork Soul? How do you feel about Clockwork Soul?
I love this.
Yeah, I do too.
I love this so much I would play a Sorcerer again after playing 20 straight levels of Sorcerer. Sorcerer was not on the fucking table. I played 20 levels of it, you guys. I'm good. I would play one again. I would play a Warforged Clockwork Sorcerer with this.
Yeah, same thing I thought of. And it's not even the only concept. It just marries so well.
It's not the only concept, but sometimes, man, when you hear hoofbeats, you go ahead and think horsey.
Yeah. But you could also just have that wizened old sorcerer, and I love that it's from the
Zalayan.
Yeah, you could do that. Oh, you could do that with one of the other wizard builds, too.
Oh, yes.
But they do specifically mention a giant-ass clock behind you, so...
Yeah.
I like the... you could play a wizened old sorcerer or the Plane of Order thing. You could do something kind of Judge Dreddy with that.
Yeah, just I am the law.
Yeah. It's neat. I like its effects are very supporty and an interesting series of stuff that I haven't seen done in D&D before, and that's why I like it.
Yeah, it's a good, solid subclass for a solid class that fluff and mechanics pair well with, which is always nice.
Yes. Are you ready for more yelling?
Yes.
Updated Psionic Soul Sorcerer.
I don't like this, as you may have been able to tell.
So, first of all, I don't know if this was an error or what, but I couldn't find the old version on 5e Tools.
Yeah, I couldn't either. It's probably there somewhere. There's filters and stuff, but I don't even care. I would rather not play a sorcerer than play this.
I think this one fails the most out of all of them.
Yes.
Which is ironic because I think it's a more balanced version of the old one.
I literally have written, I saw this fucking die change thing, and I almost skipped this entirely.
The old Psionic Soul Sorcerer was broken. Like, it was too good.
Which is, fair. Sometimes things are.
Yeah. I feel like, in general, the nerfs they made are good. But, the size-changing dice sucks. And as I said before, okay, why are we adding this weird mechanic on top of Fighter, which is supposed to be kind of simple? But now we're adding it on top of Sorcerer, who already has to keep track of Vancian fucking magic and its sorcery points and the meta magic you can do with sorcery points, and now your dice change size.
Yeah, man. I played 20 levels of Sorcerer.
I know. Like,
if you had added one more fucking mechanic on top of that, I would have thrown in the towel.
Most of your turns were very terse and quickly worded, and if something happened that fucked with the battlefield before you got to take your turn, like the turn before, it was, you were frustrated. And that's not a criticism, it's just, that was observable from me at the other end of the fucking table. I can't imagine how much mental math it was to maintain. Throwing size-changing die on top of that is fucking stupid.
No, declined. I literally have the word declined written here.
Their first level shit. Psionic Discovery, well, they're second level, whatever. Psionic Discovery and Psionic Sorcery. They're neat concepts. Getting a different spell that you don't usually have on the fly. Overcoming something a sorcerer can't usually do very easily. And then Psychic Sorcery, I forget exactly what the fuck it did.
The funny thing is, this one has a lot of really fun mechanics in it, but they're all tied to that. They're all centrally tied in a way that it would be very hard to pull out to that dice change mechanic, which I just straight up do not like.
Well, the ironic thing is, let me make my first point here, and we'll get right back to what you were just saying. Both of those features feel less like, what if I were playing a psychic, and more like, what if my sorcerer happened to be psychic?
Yeah.
And whereas the previous version, even though it didn't have as many weird moving parts, it was, hey, your fucking dude uses psychic stuff, and he gets bonus damage to psychic stuff. So pick the psychic spells, idiot, and good. Now you've made your psychic.
As opposed to, I want a sorcerer, but I want to be a psychic sorcerer.
Yeah.
In the same way that I want to be a giant soul sorcerer. It feels much more like a subclass.
It really does, and I don't care for where that is, because I prefer it when the sorcerer subclasses give you the depths of flavor.
I think I also prefer it when the sorcerer subclasses give you a real heavy coat of paint, because otherwise the chassis is pretty not sparse, but
there's a lot of options, but
flexible.
It's just about changing your spells, basically changing the way they act. Anyway, to what you were saying, pull mind over body out, replace the broken ass thing the old sorcerer could do. Done. Because the broken ass thing the old sorcerer could do was what took it over the edge, where it got its sorceress version of a barbarian rage except for magic and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah, just take mind over body, put that in there, play the old version.
Yeah.
I would have to look it up, but if I really fucking wanted to, that's probably what I would do.
I do like Psychic Aura too. It's kind of weird for a capstone, but it's like a souped up version of Spirit Guardians, the Cleric spell, in terms of you don't get to leave.
Yeah, it is basically, no, I want you here. You don't get to fucking run away from me.
Especially because it moves with you.
Yeah.
So that's actually really cool too. I do want to commend that. And the only link it has to your psychic die is that you can't use it if you don't have a psychic die for some reason. Yes. Which I don't know why you wouldn't, because I didn't read.
If you use it, and if you roll a 6 and then you roll a 4, in order, you can't use it till you finish a long rest, I think?
Why is it a class feature? One more strange note.
Maybe a short rest.
Aberrant Mind is no longer considered, canon.
Well, I mean, I can still access it, so
yeah,
go fuck yourself.
Well, none of the Unearthed Arcana ones are. Why specifically go, that one's not real anymore?
I don't know or care.
That's so bizarre. So we go to Warlock now, and we clip over an hour. The Genie, which replaces Noble Genie, which if all they did was change a fucking name, I'd be like, so.
This is clean. This is, again, I really like to buoy up when they do well, because I have shit on these psychic things so hard. This is great. This is better. This is actually, I think we have almost the same thing written now. Let's see here. Hold on. Better thematics. No reason to go back to the old version. Just a solid cleanup. And I have written here, except for the whole send your enemies to your boss for mockery thing. God, that was weird.
I love that.
Which you also mentioned is a thing you miss. Yeah. Because it was so fucking weird and out of nowhere. Like, I would make that a spell.
Sure. And maybe they will. Who knows? It was just fucking
It's just
funny.
fucking, send them to go get fucking, like, rap battle roasted by a genie for, like, 5 minutes, and then they come back all sad.
It's the equivalent of the summon in Final Fantasy X where a dude shows up and pays off your enemy to go away.
It's just such a weird, but, like, the new version doesn't have it, which is a good thing. It was a weird fucking big-lipped alligator moment of a class feature.
Sure.
But it's...
Maybe just introduce it as an equivalent level spell.
Yeah,
Although it's a Warlock, so a 5th level spell.
Yeah, that's fine. I really like the new version a lot better.
Yeah, me too.
I like their class features better. I like the loss of the weird tether thing, and instead just making the genie's lamp the fucking genie's lamp. It's just an overall, just a straight up improvement. I might actually play one of these if Warlock wasn't, Warlock.
We are working on making reasons for short rests.
Yep.
Both of us.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens in our next series of campaigns. I would still rather have genies as sorcerer subclasses. I think that's way cooler.
Yeah, descended from the genie.
Yeah. But whatever. This is fine.
I like them as a war. I like both. Why can't we have both?
I guess, I would rather have it, but this is fine too. Now we've got this.
Why can't I have a guy who works for a powerful genie and also a guy who is that powerful genie's great-great-great-great-grandson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's our demonic soul sorcerer, for that matter?
Shit, yeah, give me that. What the hell?
And Fei Soul.
No, now that you mention it, why the hell isn't there a demonic soul
I
sorcerer?
don't fucking know, dude. I don't make this game.
It's right there. You know what? Moving on.
Yeah. So, Wizard, our final class, with 3 subclasses to review, 2 of which come from the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. Now, there's something I do want to mention about the Chronergy and Graviturgy wizards. They get spells of their classes in the book as well, but they're a little unbalanced, I guess. They didn't seem that bad when I read them, but okay, fine, respect. They aren't as well tested as the other material in the game, I guess. Mercer and the book suggest that you don't just give these to your players to just take. That they should find them as like quest rewards and stuff. And I get that, but
I'm not
also
gonna fucking do that.
like, I'm a Chronergy wizard. Let me do my chronomancy, man.
Look, straight up, Mr. Mercer, I'm not gonna fucking do that. Like, if they want to take the spell with their spells that they get when they level up, they're a wizard. If they want to get it as an extra spell, then yeah, we're going to have to fucking talk. But if they want to get it with the research that they've been doing as a fucking wizard, and they did a whole level up, and they want the stupid chronomancy spell, okay.
I could see keeping it out of the hands of like a regular wizard.
Maybe. That's a maybe.
But like, if you're already that subclass,
if I'm the time wizard, I want to be the time wizard. If I'm gonna fucking get my sonic screwdriver out, I want to play Doctor Who.
Time wizard, do your time magic. Oh, you misunderstood. I can't do time magic. I don't think you're a time wizard then.
But this is just a really good. This is a really, really good implementation of the idea time wizard. Mm-hmm. Without even because I straight up looked at none of the chronomancy spells. None of them.
Yeah. I looked at it ages ago, but
just their features, just the features. Great implementation of a time wizard.
I'd say it's in the same level as the Clockwork Soul Sorcerer. It's just really good new stuff, and that's very good support.
Yeah, very, very good new shit that thematically fits and is mechanically useful, which is sometimes hard for people to do.
The only thing I'm kind of eyebrow raisy about is their capstone, where it gives you a level of exhaustion to use it. Basically what it does is you change the difficulty of a die roll to be whatever the guy rolled so that they succeed.
Or so that they just failed, and you get to pick which one it is.
And that's cool, but taking a level of exhaustion with it is rough.
It's rough in the same way that it makes it rough for that barbarian thing. But something's making a noise. Sorry, it's
I think it's outside.
But it makes it rough for the barbarian that does exhaustion levels. But notably, It's not as rough because instead of being the central mechanic for the class, it is on the capstone, and you are doing something which could potentially be very effective.
Yeah, it basically sells it as something you want to use, not for like, all right, let's kill this orc. Oh, I missed. That's fine, my friend. You didn't miss. It's more like, okay, everyone's dead except for you and the fighter. The fighter has 1 attack left on the 4 attacks they get to roll. Fuck it. They rolled all 4 of their attacks. They only have their bonus action offhand attack. The boss has 1 hit point. Make it happen, Cap'n.
And they roll, and it's a 1. No, it's fucking not!
Exactly. And I like the fact that you can dip deeper into exhaustion to keep fucking doing it.
I love that, actually.
Yeah.
In the way that I don't like it for Barbarian, because it's such a central mechanic, I love it for this. I love it for the wizard, like, at the edge of their power, just absolutely destroying their body to master time itself, to yank victory from the jaws of defeat. Letting you do it until you literally fucking kill yourself is absolutely A+.
It's the implementation of the end of Doctor Strange.
Yes, Dormammu, I have come to bargain, and you will fucking bargain. You understand me?
Oh, I didn't pass my persuade check? I'm doing it again.
I didn't pass my persuade check? Yes, I did. Oh, I didn't pass that save? Yes, I did. Oh, he didn't pass. He passed his save? No, he didn't.
I dig it. How would you play this?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of pithy off the top of my head. I would really turn into the skid of being a time wizard.
Yeah.
Of being like someone who is kind of obsessed with time. Kind of obsessed with the passage of time and the nature of the 4th dimension and just absolutely struggles. I'd take every version of action economy bullshit that 5e gives me. I would find ways to do every kind of manipulation of the action economy. I would try and find efficient ways to use my bonus action every round, just be absolutely efficient with time whenever possible. And I would play someone who just gets more and more obsessive about perfection, about, no, I can try it again and I can do better. But also, like, a version of that doesn't immediately become an antagonist.
I like time mages from Final Fantasy, so that really buoys me up. But I don't know that that's necessarily how I'd play it. I think it'd be a little too bland. Because I've been thinking of this as we've been talking here. Once again, I'm going to go back to Dark Souls. Time flows different in Lordran. But you're not in Lordran, you are Lordran. So it's a little bit of the divination wizard in that, like, okay, re-roll that because it didn't happen that way. Except, like, I would play the character as kind of harried and detached. I played a character named Ezra who had a similar personality, similar mindset. I would take that to a slightly different level and, like, show up through the back door to our meeting place. And when everyone's looking at me like, what? You know, just
don't worry about
it. I'm sorry. We're coming in the front door this time? Okay. All right, we can do that. And it just, like, more stuff like get the luck feat. And,
like, even mine, I would get the luck feed. I would get all that shit. I would be as hard into the paint of messing. I would get haste would be an absolute must-have. Stuff like that.
Yeah, but just like someone trying to read a comic book. What timeline is this? It's Deadpool with which
McAvoy or Stewart.
Exactly.
These timelines get so confusing.
Like,
that
just
shit.
Kind of like detached from everything due to their experimentation with the time magic and. But still there, still caring, still dishing out the spells and going, I don't think that happens in this timeline. Sorry. Good stuff.
If I remember correctly, we win the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Graviturgy.
This is kind of a wet fart after the greatness that was Chronergy.
I think if they were read in reverse order.
Yeah, it would have been better. But that's not how the alphabet works. This is literally, hold on. This is a great implementation on a time wizard is the last thing I wrote for Chronergy. First thing for Graviturgy. This, conversely, is a very underwhelming take on something as cool as Gravity Wizard.
I like what they've got. They're good support. It's just not as awesome, not as on the nose as Chronergy, not as Paladin as Chronergy.
I like the idea of Paladin being a exclamation of quality.
I think Event Horizon is a better capstone overall.
I don't disagree, but it's not even that. It's still attached to the rest of Graviturgy Wizard.
Sure. I like that also you can spend spell slots to use it multiple times. Again, we like that mechanic.
Yes.
Not much to say about this. I don't know. I just have fun playing Graviturgy. That seems like I want to play a wizard, but I don't want to do X, Y, or Z. I'll do Graviturgy. Why not?
It could have been something much cooler than it is, but it's not uncool. Sure. It's just underwhelming for such a great concept.
So let's play the Wizard Compliment Sandwich.
Okay. Oh, it's going to be a hell of a sandwich.
The Circle of Scribes.
Oh my god, I literally just have this written as cool fucking book wizard. Oh my god, this is so fucking cool. Look at this cool book wizard, this cool sentient AI book.
This is all rules. Go look at it, all of it, and it's great.
There isn't a bad part of this. This is 100% good shit.
I think there's something that could be better.
Okay, I'm here. I'm listening.
They specifically mentioned that your quill goes away when you die.
Yeah.
That's stupid. I understand it going away if you make a new one. You're not allowed to just mass produce quills. That's fine. But if you're dead, you can't make any more quills. Your quill should linger. Can you imagine a level 1 scribe wizard using his master's quill? Can you imagine going on a quest for, as the name I have written here, the Lost Quill of Quizzled the Curious?
Yeah, you're right. That's really good. But I understand why it exists for mechanics.
Like, I get it. But come on.
Because otherwise, you could have a party member keep that, and then because the quill still works, maybe the quill lingers, but it takes a scribe wizard to use it.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. That's why you have to be a scribe wizard to be using your master's quill.
Yep. You're right. That's pretty good. Yeah. But this is just, all of this shit is really cool. You get an AI, you get Jarvis.
And it does the same thing as Echo Knight, because you can cast spells from a different location after a certain level.
Yeah, where Jarvis is.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. How would you play your scribe wizard? As a wizard, I assume.
Okay, so this is going to take a little explaining, listener. Years ago, White had a fantasy setting he was working on with its own set of rules based on a version of the Gialopunk rules. One of the concepts was book wizard. A wizard who is literally someone who is absolutely focused on their wizard's tome, and the rules worked in such a way that you had to use a real fucking book. And what spells you could cast were determined by the words in that real-life book. That's the kind of vibe I would go for. It's just absolutely the wizard. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a wizard I played and really liked. The absolute Graham is one of the many replace names for a wizard archetype I spent most of my teenage years playing. The wizard. The arcane master with his AI book sidekick, who has a fucking USB backup drive of all his spells. You can't take his spell book from him. If he has 1 hour to write, to do arcane formulae, he gets his spell book and his AI buddy back. Fuck you. This is just...
If he dies, the book brings him back. It just loses some spells.
Yeah, he loses spells. Like, he can't ever cast them again. There's a permanent cost, and I like that. I like that there's a permanent cost. But once he's powerful enough, his book will bring him back to life. The wizard. This is the one I would play as Doctor Strange.
So, I love that you mentioned Graham specifically, because there was a character that I had played who, through a series of circumstances, we ended up playing a couple of sessions in a campaign with them together. Boy and I so very rarely get to play a game together because one of us is the DM, basically. So it was an exciting opportunity, and we were like, let's be wizard bros.
Yeah, let's both be wizards, and let's just do cool wizard bro things. Be like academic colleagues.
The one I was playing was a character I'd played previously, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, but he was an academic. He was a teacher with tenure, who was an elf, who had been teaching for hundreds of years, so he retired to go adventuring.
Yep.
And, this is definitely, literally, in the first scene I played him in, the first game I played him in, he set his quill to go do writing while he was talking up some pretty girl at the counter or something like that.
Yeah, this is just... there is now a wizard. And, I love that.
I appreciate that it's got a little bit of the lore wizard in there, too, with the element changing. I love that, and I'm glad that they're putting that effect in more shit.
Again, wizard doesn't necessarily... It's not 3rd edition. Wizard doesn't need to be the most powerful class. I like... In my heart of hearts, I want it to be the most flexible class. And Sorcerer kind of yanked all the meta magic, so this is a great way of helping that along.
Well, what do you think your favorite class out of these is?
Favorite subclass out of all of this?
Yeah.
I mean, this might be just because we talked about it last, but Scribe's Wizard is really fucking cool.
Scribe's Wizard is really up there.
That or Echo Knight. Echo Knight was real fucking solid.
Yeah. I'd probably have to... Yeah, Stars Druid's pretty nice, too.
Stars Druid is a really good improvement on a class which can otherwise be underwhelming. Echo Knight, Fighter, and Scribe Wizard are just A+ versions of already good classes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, there you have it. It's just a little catch up on the subclasses, and we're free for a couple of months probably before we need to do one of these again. Maybe I'll see you in December with this exact concept.
Yep. But until then, everything's better when nerds talk about it. Fuck it!